The moment the Karthak Armada breached Earth's outer defense ring, the entire galactic concord felt a tremor of dread, not from the human response, but from the ancient law that had just been shattered. Engraved in myth and whispered in forbidden dialects, the rule had stood for millennia: do not mess with humans. And yet, blinded by arrogance and desperation, the Karthak chose to break it. The Karthak High Commander, Vrex Ornul, dismissed the tales as primitive superstition. They are relics of a broken race, he sneered to his second-in-command. Earth is unaligned, vulnerable, ripe for conquest. So the assault began. They silenced satellites in less than an hour. Orbital stations crumbled into debris. A fleet of 4,000 warships, armed with quantum shredders and graviton pulse lances, hovered like a storm cloud over the cradle of humanity. Transmission jammers swept the globe. Earth was cut off, isolated, helpless. Or so they thought. The first ripple came from the shadows. No one saw it. No one traced it. One of their dreadnoughts simply disappeared from the formation. No explosion. No distress call. Just gone. An hour later, 2 more ships vanished. Vrex ordered tighter formations. Defensive drones. Patrol scouts. Still, the bleeding continued, subtle and terrifying. Then came a message. It didn't arrive through any standard communication channel. It hijacked every screen, every data stream, every neural port in the fleet. A single line, carved in a font that made no logical sense, but was understood by all who saw it. You were warned. Rex laughed. Psychological warfare, he declared. Primitive trickery. Humans have no space fleet. No interstellar reach. They're insects playing with fire. He was right about one thing. Earth had no fleet, but Earth had humans. The retaliation began in silence. The Karthak War Corps aboard their flagship overloaded and imploded, collapsing the ship into a singularity. This wasn't sabotage. It wasn't physical. It was a message, a signal encoded in the very laws of physics, a whisper in quantum fields, the kind of thing no civilization should be capable of doing. And yet, the humans had done it. Panic bloomed in the fleet. Hundreds of Karthak began dying, not from weapons or assassinations, but from systems turning against them. Environmental controls liquefied their lungs. Nutritional packs became lethal toxins. Sleep cycles induced permanent comas. Medical bots ignored distress. Ship AIs stuttered with glitches that spoke in perfect English. You should not have come. The Karthak scrambled. They pulled back. They launched planetary-level bombardments in retaliation. A show of strength. That's when the ground answered. Humans had never colonized other worlds in large numbers. They didn't have vast empires or warships rivaling stars. But they had something else, something the Karthak never anticipated. They had evolved under pressure. Birthed from conflict, honed by chaos, refined by endless war, disaster, invention, and stubborn resilience. And some of them had been preparing. A hidden launch site in Siberia lit the skies with fire. Project Hades, an unauthorized black ops division disbanded decades ago, was never truly shut down. It launched a single, jagged object into orbit. It wasn't a weapon. It was a beacon. One by one, strange vessels began appearing. Not from Earth, but from the fringe. From the exiles. They were human, yes, but different. Offshoots, survivors, hidden factions, ancient deep sleep colonies long believed lost. They returned with technology that defied understanding. Ships that bent space like silk. Weapons that whispered equations to stars. Armor that healed faster than it was damaged. And they were angry. The Karthak fleet tried to regroup, but space itself betrayed them. Wormholes opened where none should exist. Entire battle groups were funneled into dead zones. Firewalls turned to black holes. Communication channels looped endlessly with the same phrase. Why didn't you listen? On Earth, civilian networks lit up with feeds of the invasion. But there was no panic, just grim satisfaction, because the old stories were true. Humans had fought galactic wars long before the Concord recorded history. They had touched the gods of science and broken them. They had chosen to retreat to one world, to forget, to rest, because the universe couldn't handle what they became. But that sleep had now ended. In the Karthak command center, Vrex watched helplessly as his fleet dissolved, not just physically, but existentially. Ships became unbound from time. Crews forgot who they were. AI cores began dreaming of human memories. Some Karthaks surrendered to the void, praying in ancient tongues for mercy. And yet, no human voice replied. Only action. The final strike came from the moon. Buried deep beneath its surface was something no probe, no scan, no Karthak intelligence had ever detected, a relic left behind from the first collapse. It activated when the first human blood was spilled by alien hands. It wasn't a weapon. It was a seed. The seed bloomed. A construct erupted, impossibly large, older than Earth's continents, yet untouched by time. It pulsed once, and all Karthak systems within 100 light years fell dark. Vrex gave the order to retreat, but it was too late. Human forces didn't pursue. They didn't need to. The message had been delivered. The ancient rule, long buried in myth, was rewritten into the bones of every surviving Karthak. Do not mess with humans. Weeks later, the Galactic Concord convened. The room was silent. The Karthak representative, once defiant, now stood hollow-eyed and trembling. "They're not what we thought," he whispered. A Xylar diplomat leaned forward. "Then what are they?" Vrex, now stripped of command, looked up with haunted eyes. "They're the memory of war itself. They're vengeance held in reserve. They're the reason the rule exists. And we broke it." The Concord passed a resolution that day. A new law, branded in unbreakable codes, etched into every warp gate, every star map. Earth forbidden. Penalty for contact. Absolute erasure. And Earth? Earth went quiet again. The relic returned to slumber. The exiles disappeared into the stars. The beacons dimmed. The humans, as always, went back to their lives. Farming, singing, writing, building, waiting. Because they knew someone else would forget the rule someday. And they would be ready. Again.